Okay, so I've gotten rid of the backing mat because this is a very filthy piece of equipment, and I didn't want any of that dirt getting inside the mat and making it filthy for other things that were going to be on it. Rather have it on this tabletop and then I can sweep it away. So I've taken out, this is a new keybed for me. I'm not used to this one. This is a new one for me. I've taken apart DX7s and Rolands and gotten used to what Yamaha and Roland have to throw with regards to keybeds, but this one here is different, and so I have carefully laid out the pieces because you can never make any assumptions. You don't want to end up with a big pile of keys not knowing which one goes where. Obviously the black keys are all identical, so that's great, and I think from what I can tell that the springs that I've are actually interchangeable as well, depending on, like, you know, the big question would be to use a different spring for the black key or the white key. And we can find out by, here is a white key spring, and here is a black key spring. Careful, careful, careful. Side by each, and take a look at that. The white key spring has a little coiled up bunch in the middle, and the black key spring does not. Is that actually universal? Let me see. Let me see. The act of discovery and processing. Coiled up bunch in the middle for a white key. Let's take a look at it down here. Okay, what do we got? And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe it's just the light in the camera. Yes, the light in the camera. They look sort of silvery as opposed to goldish. But as you can see here, if it's got a coiled up bunch in the middle, it is a white key. And if it is a straight across spring, it is a black key. So there's an important thing to note. And again, that's one of the reasons why, in this case, I didn't just haul these pieces out. And again, I took all these out just by pushing them down and pulling them back. Some of them were a bit tough. I had to wiggle them a little bit. Don't worry, nothing will break if you're careful. But we've got a lot of filth in this keybed. So I am definitely glad I took the time to take it apart. Because we're going to get rid of all this filth. Furthermore, the rubber domes seem to be fine, but if you want to actually get to the PCB, remember the PCB that lives underneath here, also going to be getting lots and lots of grime and dirt on it. Well, you're going to have to take off all of these screws here and gingerly lift that back. And this looks like it's cracked. You can believe that. That looks cracked. And I can't see that ever being broken by a user. I think that somebody back in the Polaris factory should have got their butt kicked for this. They tightened the screw too tightly and it cracked. And that just goes to show you perhaps the dangers of taking this PCB off. And I'm starting to get worried that maybe this PCB is made out of the same material as those membranes, the pigtails that broke. So, you know, taking a look at this, I think at this point I am going to leave sleeping dogs lie. If it wasn't for this crack, I'd be in there taking off this PCB. But because of this crack, I am concerned if it was to spread or get worse or interfere with this piece here, then I would be in trouble, because don't think that this board is easy to come by. Now, if you take a look, one of the recommended channels that are featured on the Disintegrator channel is SynthPro's channel, and he does a fine job buzzsawing apart a AX73 by Akai, and he points out quite correctly that the keys, and this keybed is the same for this as for the Polaris, as for the Polaris as for the AX73. He says it was the same keys. So I'm thinking maybe the circuit boards might be the same too. So there is a possible source that you could get replacements other than another Polaris, but I'm going to leave that exactly as I found it, untouched. And ooh, look at that, you see that? This guy is not held down, so he's going to lift up over time. If you ever get a note failing, it's probably going to be the ones on the ends, because they would open up on the outside and dust would get inside the dome. So we'll just take care not to muck that up. Alright, when you see this again, and these guys too, they'll all be clean.